I ran across two fantastic articles today that I couldn't pass up. The first article is entitled "Dare to Live: 10 Unconventional Ways to Be True to Yourself," and a supervisor at work had talked about the importance of being true to oneself, and it really hit me hard. And to be true to oneself is the was it Shakespeare that said, "To thine own self be true." These are such important things if we're not true to ourselves. And it's something I'm trying to teach my teenager too, and I'm not doing it myself, but totally. But to be true to oneself, that is the bottom line. That is it. E. E. Cummings once said, "It takes courage to grow up and become who we really are." I think, very, very good. The article I found says, "Quote: Have you ever had a clear sign of who you really are, then totally ignored it? Maybe it required too much change or taking a big risk. Maybe you were scared to have to convince a loved one how much you needed this. And so you rationalized that it wasn't the right time, convinced yourself to be sensible, and put off all the while. I know how this feels because I did it too," says the author of the article. They say, "I was 21 then, in my third year of medical school. We were in our first psychiatry classes, and the professor was demonstrating to us a patient with conversion disorder. I was hooked. In no other class had I been so completely absorbed. I fell in love with a big thud, reading everything I could on neuroscience and the brain. Although exhilarating my mind, this was also a disaster. You see, my dad was and still is a prominent eye surgeon who owned several hospitals and had been waiting to hand over his empire to me. And falling in love with psychiatry," he says, "well, that wasn't part of the plan. Part of the plan. I was raised in a culture where kids obeyed their parents, no questions were asked, even more so if you are the firstborn, added points if you were female. Unluckily, I was both, as a female writer, so I ignored the signs and buried my desires. Then tragedy hit, and my mother unexpectedly died, and just like that, life was turned topsy-turvy. That's when I realized that planning to fulfill obligations first, then to chase dreams, is an illusion. Even the heady immortality of youth is sobered by meeting death up so close. I developed this urgent, almost desperate need to be fully alive, to be true to myself in the time that I had left on this earth. The fierce urgency of now, that is that's a huge deal. And it's becoming, in my life, that saying, the fierce urgency of now, is so, so important. And we have to be ourselves. And our whole battle in life is to be totally ourselves and to be as loving and compassionate at the same time. That's a tough juggling act. The writer says, "It's been more than 10 years now since I took the plunge. I've become a board-certified psychiatrist," she says. "In the U.S., my siblings have grown. My dad and I have made up since. But I would not have changed this journey, difficult as it was in some ways, even if I had the chance, because it taught me through trials and lots of errors how to become real." That's pretty cool. And I can see that in my journey, in our journey with Stefan, our special needs son, and the challenges there of bringing up children in general. Ryan is typical, but he has his challenges too. So it's very humbling. But the road that you travel is somewhat rugged, but it's still worth doing. It's still worth definitely worth all the effort. So sometimes I'm becoming to realize that the hard way is actually the better way, which is like, why would you want to, stress yourself to do things? So now I'm becoming much more mentally rigorous, to read much more per day and to concentrate much more a day, even if I feel mentally exhausted, to concentrate on the goal, focus on, writing goals for work, all the bullet points that I need to do, at the risk of overly, organizing. That can be a problem too. But very interesting article, that this doctor stating that everybody's journey is unique, and so this is in no way a generic prescription. These things happen to work for me. She says, "Cherish the special friendships I have, and I still have friends and had friends who knew and loved me unconditionally. This is truly invaluable. Make and keep good friends. Be honest with them. Of course, number one is my wife. To be friends with her is the core. If that doesn't happen, everything breaks down. So, and then I have my good male friends. Fred, Mike, Tim, Tom, Ted, Larry, Glenn. Top 6 male friends, which I can be pretty much myself. Maybe the top 3 more than the bottom 3. But it's very important to have these people that you can be, as the author says, they can be your moral compass during stormy times, not just psychologically, but literally, like in Share Her Last Sandwich while reading poetry on long afternoons kind of support. Person that will hang out with you in a meadow with nothing to do but just walk with you. Walk with me in the meadow. I think that's in the Bible somewhere. Don't hate those who stumble. We all do sometimes. So it would be so easy, and actually was, to hate my dad for a while, she says. But as time passed, I was able to see his side too. This guy was so poor while growing up. He only had one meal a day. He wore torn rags to school. He had to sneak to elementary classes from his day job herding sheep. From there, he had risen to be one of the top surgeons in the country. Tough act to follow. I'm very similar to that, with my father he's a retired psychiatrist now, but a very tough act to follow. We really born into nothing, born fairly poor, and made it happen for himself. So very tough shoes to walk into. Take responsibility for your own life. This is the beginning of self-esteem. Although stuff happens, ultimately you're responsible for your actions. When we deeply and utterly understand that to be true, life takes on a whole new meaning. Whatever has happened until the past moment is gone, the present moment is again yours, and you have the power to do whatever you want to do. So you can remake the good news. Bad news is you may be judged in the future without the past. The good news is you can remake yourself. Have a big vision and keep your goals aligned with your vision. Make sure to know what kind of person you want to be and what kind of job or life you would like to lead. And with me, it's the passion for customer service and passion for human connection that really inspires me. I think it's perhaps the computer skills and the emphasis in business on being fast. So I struggle with the most. I want to take my time and do a good job, but it's fast. Have 3 reports done today, have 3 reports done tomorrow, which I'm currently struggling with, but it is something that can be done. And remember that death makes life real. In the words of Steve Jobs, remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You're already naked. There's no reason not to follow your heart. That's Steve Jobs right there. Death can come at any moment to any of us. We don't have forever to be who we are. In fact, we owe it to ourselves and those we love to be truly alive in this moment. Be authentic in each moment to each, especially the people that we love the most. There's no instruction book on this, but to be alive, truly authentic, and not being afraid to be emotional with the ones we hold close, I think is important. Don't be afraid to be emotional. It is the only legacy we can be proud to leave behind. Don't worry too much about making mistakes. It's better to have tried and failed than not to have tried at all. As with my promotion at work, it's a big job, but I'm going to tackle it. I'd rather do that than just sit back and complain about the management, right? That's not the way to do it. Think and analyze your decisions carefully, but once you feel reasonably sure you have made the good choice, just trust yourself, be bold, go forth into the wilderness. Whatever happens, you will have gained experience from it. Only the courageous can boast of. So once you've gone down the road. So if you think, oh my gosh, I'll never do this at work, or they're asking so much of me, what if I'm able to conquer it? The stories I will tell, kind of thing. If I can make to the other side of the mountain, we got some pretty good success stories going on. So it's always that super motivation to do better. Be kind to yourself. We all mess up once in a while. Admit your mistake fully, make amends, learn from it, move on. You are unique. Know your strengths. There's only one you in the entire universe. You have unique strengths. Learn what makes you tick. What's your, if my strength is being sensitive, then that's important. Or if my strength is a sense of humor at work, I need to keep going with that. If I close up and get tense, I'm going to get unpopular really quickly. It has gotten me through many a sticky situation, humor, and created hours of pure fun, according to the author, including much good humor in your day is legally possible. That's a doctor's order. So make work fun. It's where you spend most of your time. Just make it as fun as you can. And obviously there's good discipline with good fun. It's a tough. It's a kind of a stew, right? A mixture. So, dear readers and future friends, from my wobbly phone here. Sorry about the wobbliness. So, dear readers and future friends, don't wait to be who you are. You are special, and there's a reason you are on the earth. No matter what your situation is, there's something you can do today to move toward your true self. Dare to live. Your dreams are counting on you. There it is. Dare to dream.